Hello to everybody. This is Nicolò Rossetto attending today the first virtual conference of the International Association of Energy Economists. And today I have the pleasure of talking with Yannick Perez, who is professor in energy and mobility economics at Centrale Supélec in France, and he is the president of this annual conference of the Association of Energy Economists. Welcome, Yannick, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Nicolò.
So you just shared a very interesting topic. The title was Energy Transition in Times of COVID. You had several excellent panelists, and we saw that the world is getting out of the pandemic, of the COVID-related crisis, and we have in front of us another major challenge, which is to address climate change, to address energy transition. Very interesting position from different speakers emerged during this session. What are the key takeaways according to you? What are the key insights you would like to share with the broader audience that unfortunately could not attend the conference?
Well, in fact, I think there is different messages which have been discussed in this session. The first one is that everybody agrees on the fact that we need to tackle energy transition and to do it fast or super fast, or that we need to do it in the coming months. So the idea was the path of the change is on discussion, but not the final goal. So academics says basically we need to change, industry says we need to change, and government says we need to change. So everybody agrees on the fact that we need to change. Then everybody disagrees on how and when and in which rhythm and what do we do with the stranded assets. And how do we manage the transition from today to tomorrow? So if we take the position of Patrick Pouyanné from Total Energy, which is the CIO of Total Energies, what he says is, I need to make cash on oil and gas tomorrow and the day after in order to manage a transition towards the next 40 years or 30 years. And in 2050, I will be ready to have a new business model as long as you allow me to make business the next 10 to 20 years in order to make this transformation, because I need to invest billions, and these billions, I have to extract them from oil and gas. And in the next 10 years, oil and gas will be strong. And we are investing in a lot of appliances in almost every renewable energies that those exist today, in electric cars, in smart charging, in electricity whatsoever. But I need these funds in order to make the transition happen. And I probably have a 20 years plan in order to go from today to tomorrow. Then from the International Agency for Energy, the message is we need to move today. We need to start moving. We don't have to wait 20 years. We have to move as fast as possible, because if we are investing today in technologies that takes 20 to 30 years to give them money back, it's better to stop now. And not making investment in dirty energies, and to stop investment in dirty energies today, which is not exactly compatible with what the industry says, which says that in the next 20 years they need to make profit on oil and gas in order to make the transition happen. So in these two lines of analysis, there is room for discussion and for fine-tuning between the governmental position on the one hand that say we need to transform demand, and from oil and gas industry that said we need to transform demand, but it will take more time than you think. And then we have two complementary approaches coming from Edward Miguel from from California, Berkeley, which basically says, okay, but in Africa, it's very complicated to make any type of energy transition because we don't have electricity yet. So having green electricity, or even if we think about advanced energy consumption, we are in a totally different situation. People need affordable energy, and they need energy, and they need more energy than what they have, and more and cleaner. But cleaner is more what we want. They don't ask for clean energy, they ask for energy. And if we want to provide them with green and affordable energy, the effort should come from developed countries, to make it simple, and try to organize that. Then the last presentation from Claudia Kempfert comes at the time of the new dynamic in the coal industry in Germany. Where the discussion around the new election of the German prime minister would be around what we do in the next 10 years with coal. And there is a lot of political pressure to say we need to ban coal from now to the next 20 years. But of course, if you ban coal in Germany, it's a massive destruction of investments. And there is thousands of people that you need to transform into coal miners to something else. This something else could be on renewable energies, but it also could be on different aspects, but it's a huge challenge. And in the next 10 years, the stranded assets in Germany, the fact that the government should pay for all this investment that will not end up their life as the others' assets, will bring a massive redistribution discussion, because it's billions of euros which are at stake. If I remember well, it's something around 40 billion euros decision. It's not a decision that every government takes every morning and they say, okay, now we are going to make an energy transition that's worth roughly 40 billions. And that will transform the energy usage. So they go at a very fast rate toward energy transition. They want to lead, of course, this energy transition, but it's also a time for political discussion. So we don't know if it's just sort of pre-statement before entering the election, or if it is something that it will depend and rely on who would be the next head of the German government.
Yeah, because in the end, my understanding while watching the session was that clearly energy transitions always take time, decades, and involve massive cost, massive adaptation of the capital stock. And if you want to do that in a very fast pace, well, someone has to pay, someone has to coordinate. And it was particularly, let's say, puzzled by the milestones that the International Energy Agency proposes, because if we take them seriously, well, the business of many companies, of many sectors must change significantly very soon. Just one example, they mentioned the idea to phase out natural gas boilers for domestic heating in less than 5 years. So coordination.
It's a massive decision, and the same for buildings. Just on a quick remark, they say, okay, today we change one building out of 20 on an annual rhythm, and we should go for 1 to 5.
It's a lot.
It's not just massive; it's impressive.
Especially in countries a bit, let's say, approaching a steady state like Europe, because I can still understand countries that are growing fast, but countries that are, let's say, with an economic growth rate which is low, this is really impressive. But fortunately, Mrs. Cozzi also mentioned that there are some possible positive side effects, especially in terms of income and new employment opportunities, right?
At the sum, what is clear and which has been discussed in this session and in others, it is clear that if we take coal, for instance, we are going to lose millions of jobs, but wind and solar create more. The problem is who, what are the solutions for both? So because the people that lose their job in coal, they will probably not become PV or wind
installers, yeah, or designer of new wind blades.
So we need to create these 4 million jobs. For China, the numbers were 2 million jobs cut and 4 million jobs created. And probably no transfer between the 2 destroyed and the 4 created. So you need to build these 4 million people skilled, and you need to manage 2 million of people which are unskilled and in which you are going to look for a solution for them. So it's this type of discussion that have been stressed in this session, and I think it's interesting for economists because we are always looking at efficiency measure, yes, but we are not much looking at opportunity cost of the decisions and who are the winners and the losers of the transformations. And what was clear in this session is that everyone wants the final goal of energy transition, but everyone is calculating what is the impact for his business or for the population he's looking at or for the technology he's carrying. And it was very fascinating to see that even if you agree on the final objective, the way to go for this objective remains hugely debatable and a very hot topic.
Very, very political. Indeed, my final takeaway, Yannick, is that there is really a big space for public policies, for intervention by public authorities, because it's probably the only way to coordinate such a big change, big transformation, big reallocation of capital and labor in a few, let's say, in a very few decades. And so maybe we left neoliberal economic policy for some kind of post-neoliberal environmentalism. Let's see what we will see maybe after German election and in the coming years. Really, I thank you, Yannick, for this chat, for this conversation. I wish you all the best for the remaining part of this conference, and see you online.
Thank you. Bye-bye.